Hey guys, so today's video is definitely on a more serious note than the other videos that I have been posting throughout the 12 days of Christmas and will continue to post. But it's definitely the most important one, and I 100% wanted to include this in the 12 days of Christmas when I planned it out because I think it's so important to talk about, and I think it's probably something that a lot of people don't really think about during the holidays because it's such a joyful and happy season, and you don't really think about how if you're not in that position, a lot of people are struggling this time of year. So obviously anxiety is present all throughout the year, but especially around the holidays, it can be a super depressing time. And not saying depressing in like, oh, I'm so depressed with everyone that just throws that word around on the internet, like literally clinically depressing, because there's so many different aspects to it, and I wanted to touch on those in this video today so that maybe if you know someone who's struggling, or even if you don't know someone who's struggling, but you'll just have it in the back of your mind so that when you're out and you're celebrating and you're enjoying your Christmas festivities or your holiday festivities, maybe you'll just keep this in the back of your mind and kind of consider the other people around you, and hopefully you can help somebody out if they're struggling through this time of year. I don't have any plan to where I want to talk about this. Like, I have some points I want to touch on, but I'm probably just gonna ramble a lot, so hopefully this makes sense. But basically I wanted to talk about some things that can cause anxiety over the holidays, and one of those things is shopping. Not only the atmosphere, like for me personally, I am a highly sensitive person and I get so overwhelmed when there's a big crowd of people or there's a lot of people out shopping, when the lights are really bright and there's a lot of sounds like music playing and a lot of people being loud, children being loud, like everything. Those things can be super overwhelming for people. So if you see someone who's super irritated when they're out shopping, it might not be because they're just, you know, pissed off about everything. It truly could be because they're having an anxiety attack, and it comes out in the form of irritation. I know for me personally that happens often. I get really frustrated and flustered if I'm overwhelmed because there's too much going on around me, or there's too many people, or I just feel super overwhelmed. So, you know, a loved one you might not realize is having an anxiety attack, but if they suddenly start to get like super irritated and stuff when you're out trying to do your shopping, or just out anywhere where there's going to be a big crowd of people or like a lot of things happening at one time, just keep in mind that it possibly could be anxiety, and just try to ease them as much as you can and make it comfortable for them. And, you know, if you need to take them somewhere where it's quiet for a minute, go and help comfort those people. Like, you truly could make a huge difference by just being there for them. So that's one thing that definitely causes anxiety over the holidays, especially for me personally, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Another thing that can come out during the holidays is social anxiety. You know, there's a lot of different holiday parties and a lot of places where there are big crowds of people and people that you don't know, and that can bring on a bout of social anxiety. So if you're at a party and you notice someone's kind of withdrawn, they're to themselves, they're not really talking a lot, go and talk to that person. They could possibly be feeling super anxious because they're around a bunch of people that they don't know, or, you know, there's too many people for them and they just got overwhelmed all of a sudden and they kind of withdraw themselves. But not everyone does that. Not everyone withdraws. Like me personally, I know when I feel anxious in a social situation, I definitely withdraw and I'm not as talkative and I kind of like keep to myself, but that's just how I react. I know other people who suffer from social anxiety, and you would never be able to tell that they are suffering in the moment because they don't act that way. But if you know that someone in your life does struggle with social anxiety, just, you know, check in on them when you're in a place that you know could possibly trigger them, like a social situation where there's a lot of people, a holiday party, you know, somewhere where there's a big crowd. Just, you know, check in with your loved one or your friend or whoever, and just make sure that they're doing okay, they're not feeling overwhelmed, and if they are, help them in any way that you possibly can. Ask them what you could do to make them feel a little bit more comfortable, or to make them not feel so anxious. And even if you can't help by doing anything, just asking them and letting them know that you're thinking about them makes a world of a difference. And if you didn't notice that they're kind of withdrawn and stuff like that, you can let them know that no one can tell that they're feeling anxious, because I'm sure that would ease their mind as well. Because unfortunately, something that anxiety likes to do to your head is you're feeling anxious about a situation, and then on top of that you feel anxious about feeling anxious, and you're concerned that other people can tell that you're anxious. So don't really point it out if you do notice. Just kind of, you know, try to talk to them and just get their mind off of it. And also, if you don't notice and they tell you that they're feeling anxious, let them know. I had no idea, no one can tell. what can I do to help? Literally just asking what you can do to help, or letting the person know that you're thinking about them and that you want to help, it makes a huge difference, even if you literally can't do anything. A lot of times when I'm struggling with my anxiety, there's not really much that people can do that will do or say that will comfort me, but if you distract me or you let me know that you're thinking about me, that makes a huge difference, like more than you could ever imagine. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're out in situations, even if it's someone that you don't know well. If you notice that they're kind of withdrawn and they're kind of being quiet and, you know, not really talking a lot, be the kind person that goes and talks to them and makes them feel just that little bit better. Like, you alone will feel better by doing that. So it's kind of a win-win situation, really. Another situation that can cause anxiety and even depression is buying gifts for other people. A lot of people can't afford to buy the things that they want to buy for other people, or they feel like they have to meet a certain standard, they have to spend so much money, they have to get the most quality gift they possibly could because someone else is going to give them a gift that they feel like they can't match. Does that make sense? You know, there's a lot of pressure to buy expensive gifts, to go all out for Christmas, to make yourself broke because you want to show people appreciation. But there's so many other things that you can do to show someone that you love them, that you appreciate them. You can give them the gift of experience. You can give them the gift of hanging out with them and just spending a day together and not spend any money. And you can just, there's lots of other things that you can do besides buying material things to show your appreciation and love for somebody over the holidays, which for me, that's what the holidays are all about. That's why I love giving gifts, because I want to show the people that I love that I care about them and I appreciate them and I think about them and I'm trying to be thoughtful. But there's so many other things that you can do that do not include buying a material gift that can show your appreciation and love for somebody else. So just keep that in mind when you're buying gifts for other people. If you know that, you're buying a gift for your friend and your friend is kind of not in the best financial situation and you know that they cannot buy you something extravagant, kind of keep it on their level, or, maybe suggest to them that, why don't we spend the day together, and that can be our Christmas, our Christmas gift to each other, just having a fun day together. Sometimes it can make people feel a lot worse and even guilty if you want to splurge on them and they can't do the same for you. So, try to keep it minimal and don't go all out for someone that can't return the favor, because that can make people feel bad. I know that people think about oh, they're not in a good financial situation, so I want to treat them, and that can be nice sometimes, but also it can make people feel guilty and anxious about not being able to match your level of gift, if that makes sense. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for people or you're thinking about what you're going to get for gifts for people. It's not easy for everybody. Another thing that can definitely be super depressing is not everyone is surrounded by a good support group, loved ones, family. A lot of people struggle this time of year, and not just because they don't have those people around them, but also because they could have lost someone around this time of year. Personally, I lost my grandmother 3 years ago on the 13th of December, and she loved Christmas. So the holidays are always a little bit sad because she's not around anymore, and it's been 3 years, but it's still really hard. And it's also hard when you don't have people around you. Maybe you're going through hard times with your friends, or you don't really have a lot of friends, or you don't have a lot of family, or you have a difficult family. It's not all sunshine and rainbows for everybody. I know this is a joyous time of year, but it can be really hard on people. And I just wanted to make this video to let you guys in on some of that, to maybe open up the doors a little more to people who struggle with anxiety and depression, and just kind of help you realize that it's not all happy for people around this time of year, and a lot of people struggle, and it makes it a lot harder when you see everyone having a fantastic time and going to all these parties and spending time with their loved ones. It can definitely be so much harder to see that. So I just wanted to put it out there so that people can have this in the back of their mind, and when you're out celebrating and having a good time, you can just maybe notice if other people are not having as much of a good time as you, or if they're kind of withdrawn, or any of the things that I mentioned. There's so many aspects. That's just a few. I just thought of a few examples that could put it in perspective for you guys, but there's so many different aspects because everybody is different and everybody struggles differently and everybody gets anxious and depressed from different reasons. So just keep in mind that it's a happy time of year for a lot of people, but it's also a really hard time of year for a lot of people. If you can make even the slightest difference in anybody's day, in anybody's struggle, you should try to do that. If you can help them by just talking to them and making them feel included and making them feel like the whole party's not staring at them because they feel super anxious about it. Like, if you can do that, you don't understand how much that helps people. I didn't think that I would get emotional from this video, so if my voice is like cracking and I kind of look upset, I am. So yeah, I hope that you guys took something from this video, and you can make a huge difference by doing the littlest thing, so please just keep that in mind. And please just try to help in any way that you can. Even if you don't know someone who's struggling, I'm sure you do know, they're just not vocal about it. So, you know, just check in with your loved ones and make sure that they're feeling okay and that they're not struggling. And you know, whatever you can do to help to make that a little bit easier for them, or to make them feel a little bit more comfortable or a little less anxious, please do it. It makes so much difference. I hope I made sense in this video. I'm not really sure what else to say. I'm kind of, my brain's kind of scrambled right now. I was not expecting to get emotional, but like I said, my grandmother passed away 3 years ago and it's still really hard. If you are one of those people that truly enjoys the holidays and are surrounded by friends and family and loved ones and you have a great time all the time, just remember how lucky you are and count your blessings and be grateful for that, because a lot of people don't have that. And even the people that do still struggle in different areas, because personally I have a great support system and a lot of friends and family who love me and are there for me, but it's still really hard. So reach out to people and just check in with everybody and be kind, be super kind, because that is all anyone can ask for. I think that's all I have to say. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.